Hey, what's up, Austin? This is a quick demo video for you for your Ultra Sabers Dark Flex that I just got done today. I promised you Wednesday, and here it is. So we'll go over a few things. While I was taking this guy apart, Ultra Sabers does some things in a way where, you know, they're never intended to come out. So these brass pins, the 4 that I had to take out, they were a bit ate up and ruined from the way I had to take them out. So I went ahead and I JB welded some replica Graflex pins in their place. Those things are in there nice and strong. They've cured for about 24 hours. They're not going anywhere. You can file them down if you feel like they're too long for you, but they look a lot better than the pins that were in there. They were just pieces of brass rod basically filed down to a cone and then shoved in there. This part had a bunch of glue on it on the inside. I mean, it was pretty gnarly in here to get the LED out, but I was able to do that, obviously. The switch that you had here was about to break on the inside. It had a little bit of rust on it. There were some plastic pieces that were broken. At that point, I just gutted it. I didn't want to use it again. So you have a brand new 16 millimeter switch here. This CFX is set up for a one button. It's a one button setup, just like what you had. So the one thing I will say though, that you don't know about was I was able to speak to your fiance, Michelle. She got a hold of me a couple days ago or over the weekend and wanted to do something special for you with this guy. So we had kicked around a few different ideas, and what we came up with was she basically upgraded this to a NeoPixel and a heavy grade NeoPixel blade for you. So this guy is extremely durable for dueling, which she said was a concern of yours. You wanted to be able to hit other lightsabers with it. So this is a thick walled 1-inch diameter NeoPixel blade that will be coming with your saber. So that way, now you have your NeoPixel pins in there. This, right here at the very tip, this is gonna be your blade retention screw. That's what we're gonna use. So how we get into this guy, we're gonna take the pommel cap and just unscrew it. Now this is a sliding chassis, which means when you take this pommel cap off, this chassis comes out like that. You just pop it out a little bit and you can pull it out. Now, even though it will come out past where you need it to, that's about only where you need it to come out, because that's how you put the battery in it. That spring right there is gonna be your negative side of your battery. Always remember that. Don't put the battery in backwards. Even though it will come out more than that, you don't need it to come out any more than this. So we're gonna take this guy, and you can see your board up here, right? And then if you ever need to pop your SD card in and out, there is a slot in the chassis where you could do that without ever having to bring up your board. So we're gonna take it just like this, and we're gonna throw a battery in it.
I've got a feeling that things are about to get pretty nasty around here.
So we're gonna push it in. If you ever feel any resistance on the wires, just give it a slight turn. Don't turn it like this, you're gonna twist the wires up, but just push it in. If it's giving you any resistance at all, which it shouldn't, just give it a slight turn as you're pushing it in. So we're gonna push it in as far past the threads as we can go. Whoops. It might bounce back a little bit because of the wires. It's not a big deal, because at this point we're gonna take the pommel cap and we're gonna screw it on. And the pommel cap actually helps hold the chassis in place. So you're gonna get to about right here. It's gonna feel a little tight. You can give it a little bit of a quarter turn and make it tight. So what it's doing now is between the pommel cap and then your switch housing on the inside that's coming down, it's holding everything in place so there's no wobbling when you got the battery in and the chassis in, right? So we can wake up the board.
You know I don't like messing with this force business anymore.
Tap it to turn it on. Smooth swing. Tap it for blaster deflex. And hold it to turn it off. So we'll put your blade in it. It's a lot more impressive when you see the blade in it. So I did not sand this blade at all. Sometimes I sand them for diffusion, but because the blade socket on this guy is just a tad looser than I'd like to see it, I did not do any sanding.
Go and pray that I find your master before he finds you.
We just tighten that up right there. nice and bright. So if you tap it for blast or deflex, you'll see it randomly along the blade. Hopefully that's picking up on camera. Now if you hit this blade and hold down the button at the same time, you'll get blade lock up. When you have the blade on and say you don't like green, you want a different color, hold down your button and twist your wrist and then let the button go. You'll hear this. Now you can turn the hilt. Every time you hear it click is a different color. So we'll just cycle through a few of them, right? You can hear the color changing. Hopefully it's picking up on camera. We'll go to a red. When you find one you like, just tap the button. You'll hear that. So now when you turn it off and then back on, it's that color you chose. Now I gave you about 22 different blade effects on here as well. So this one just has a bit of a slight flicker in it. If you don't like that, hold down this button and twist your wrist like you did to change color, but then keep the button held down.
Spectrum.
Keep holding it.
Blade profiles.
Blade profiles. Now again, you can twist the hilt. And every time it clicks, it's a different blade effect. There's a bunch to choose from. Now the ones that you come across that look solid, they just have, and you tap the button because you like it, they have different pre-ons and pre-offs. So you see how that had a chaser when it retracts? And it has that chaser when it ignites as well. So that's what that does. To get to your fonts, when the blade is off, hold down the button until you hear this.
Sound bank selection.
Now you can cycle through with this button.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker.
Every one you go to is a different sound font, but when you find one you like, hold the button down.
Be careful not to choke on your aspirations, Director.
Now some of the sound fonts that you get that are aftermarket, they're going to have soundtracks on them. You can have the soundtrack play by double clicking the button just real fast. Just like that. Now you can have the blade on when the soundtrack is on. You can do everything everything you were doing before. And then when you want the soundtrack off, just double click again. Just like that. So I tightened up this blade retention screw with my fingers for the purpose of this demo. I would suggest, because of the diameter of this particular blade socket on this hilt, that when you tighten up your blade screw, that you do it with an Allen wrench. Don't do it too hard because you don't want to crack your blade, but at the same time, you want it to fit nice and snug in there. If you find that you want some added blade retention, this guy right here, he is not going into the blade socket currently, but you could take that out, bring that to Lowe's easy enough, and find you one that's just a tad longer, because it does have a hole there where it could go into the blade socket if you wanted to. So you could put a new one of these in, hold the blade from the bottom, and then another one on the opposite side from the top. I didn't find the need to do that, but I don't know what you're going to be doing with it. But let's take the battery out real quick. So we're just going to unscrew the pommel cap. Chassis will slide out. We'll bring it out just far enough to where we can get the battery out. So about right there. And then you can pop the battery out with your finger, just like that. And then we'll just slide the chassis right back in and put the pommel cap back on. That, sir, is your Sabre. I hope it came out the way you liked, and I will get it packed up and out in the mail to you either this afternoon or in the morning. Thank you.